Hey, we're back, and we're going to talk about how there's no freaking way Tyler Myers is getting traded. Stop dreaming, Daily Faceoff. I know we love to dream on this show, but we ain't dreaming about that. But maybe we'll dream about something else. It's Begsy, and it's Bowen, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Oh, baby, that's the jingle right there. Welcome to Locked On Canucks. My name, Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. Who gave you that, man? What the heck? Before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And Kyle, the sun is shining. I know that you want to get outside, maybe drink a beer, enjoy the sunshine. I got to ask you, though, you're stuck here talking to me for 20 to 30 minutes, man. But how are you doing and how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good, man. And I'm not stuck here. I'm here on my own accord, man, for the people. Yes, the people, the listeners, the new listeners, and for the people that are not even watching the show, yo. We're sending love your way. We're from Surrey. We lead with love. Go Canucks, go. We'll save the best for last. What is that? The comments. Yes, the comments at the end of the show. And we got a ton, man. A ton. And JT Miller may be the most polarizing athlete in Vancouver since who? Travis Lulay?
What? How is Travis Lulay polarizing?
I don't know. I just want to give someone else a shout out, okay? One time I saw Travis Lulay in a mall, Surrey Central Mall. I just want to give another shout out to Surrey, okay? That's all.
All right, fair enough. Surrey. You know, he might be the most polarizing Canuck since Tyler Myers. Oh, wait, they came on the team in the same season. And oh, wait, they both ended up on Daily Faceoff's trade board list this week. So we're going to talk about that later on the show. Maybe take a way too early look at what teams the Canucks could replace in the playoffs next season. I think we both have a guess on one of those teams. But Kyle, first and foremost, let's get to that trade bait list. Shout out to Daily Faceoff for, just trying to stir things up in late April. There's still 3 more rounds of playoffs to go. No one's getting traded for at least another 2 months. And these guys still releasing the trade bait board. And they had 2 Canucks on there. It was JT Miller at number 5 and Tyler Myers at number 12.
Wow.
Kyle, I think they might be out to lunch on both, especially Tyler Myers. But tell me your reaction to seeing those Canucks as 2 of the 12 players most likely to be traded this offseason.
Like I said, man, JT Miller is so polarizing. You got to keep him in the list. You got to put him in the SEO. You got to put him in the article, right? He just gets clicks. I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that. Now I'm going to take the guess that, again, this is because JT stands for Justin Timberlake also. So when you put him in an article, it just boosts up. Justin Timberlake, man, I was in the shower listening to Gone last night, bro. That's how I ended off my night. And then Rock Your Body by JT as well. Bro, I'm going houseboating.
That's the jam.
I'm going houseboating in a couple weeks. Bro, I'm dropping that one. I was practicing the mixing today, and that song's a classic. So yeah, JT Miller, always used in all these hit pieces because he's polarizing. He gets clicks. I just don't, again, see that happening. Again, he went from 99 points to 81 points, which is good. It's solid. It's not progression, but it's still, he's still a great player. But because he dropped, 18 points, how is it then now he's going to get traded? And that's getting paid $8 million, it's like, it just makes no sense. I feel as if the NHL world is a little bored, and he's one of the few stars that has garnered not only just interest, but a lot of news when it comes to who may be moving on out here on the West Coast. But I don't think it's going to happen. Tyler Myers, man, I could see that happening. I want to put that out there, okay? I could see that happening. And I can especially see that happening if Aquilini doesn't want to pull out his wallet, his big wallet, his biggest wallet for OEL.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I think we have differing takes on this, which is nice.
It's nice.
Same, but different. We'll put it that way. I think JT Miller is more likely to be traded than Tyler Myers. That being said, I don't think JT Miller is very likely to be traded. I think if Ron Hextall, you basically need a desperate, dumb GM like Ron Hextall in charge of things, who's, desperate to make a move like betting, trading for OEL, something like that. You need that kind of GM to make a JT Miller trade. And JT Miller's got a lot more value than Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So Benning was really, truly on a planet of his own there. But at the end of the day, if there was like a rumored 2 first-round picks or something like that coming back for JT Miller, I'd be absolutely floored if any team was willing to do that. At the end of the day, if you're not getting solid, good value for JT Miller, you may as well keep him. And like, I know there's some cautionary tales. There's a lot of people crapping on the Winnipeg Jets right now, and rightly so, with, Blake Wheeler making $8.25 million and, being past his prime. But Blake Wheeler gave them 4 to 5 years of solid hockey under that deal he signed. That gets forgotten about too. So the Canucks aren't thinking about what JT Miller is going to be like at 35, 36. And I think I wrote about this before. He profiles very similarly to Blake Wheeler. And if he can provide that kind of Blake Wheeler impact for the next 5 seasons, then this is a winning signing for the Canucks. So you can't trade JT Miller for pennies on the dollar.
And they can't do that. And I feel as if there was, again, only one GM rumored to be that high on JT Miller, and he's no longer in charge of a team, right? Hextall's fired, right? He's not even in Pittsburgh anymore, and that kind of ruins things. Now, I will say this. I'll say this, and I'll put that out there. And Rick Dhaliwal, I think, mentioned this way back when during the trade deadline. He mentioned that Carolina may be interested. If Carolina doesn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I know they're missing a few goal scorers, and it may be harder for them to get there. But let's say they can't get there. Does a little bit of desperation come in? I don't know. Now, if you're listening to this and you think that sounds a little interesting, go listen to Rob Brindamore's interview on 32 Thoughts. I'm not saying he alluded to this because that's the furthest thing from the case, but maybe it'll help put the pieces together. I could see Carolina being not like entirely desperate, because I feel as if they're a really smart organization, but they could be wanting a little bit of change. And JT Miller is a driver, and you just said it, right? If he provides value for 4 or 5 years, then he's worth that contract. I know it sucks what may happen after those 4 or 5 years, but you got to live in the moment, baby. You got to capitalize in the moment, baby. For real. And if a team picks up JT Miller and they win a cup, and then 5 years later they're overpaying him, it is what it is. So it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen, but like we said, with Hextall gone, I think JT Miller should not be number 5 on the trade bait board. That's just fishing for clicks. Daily Faceoff. Come on, Frank Seravalli, what are you doing, buddy? And at number 12 on the list, to me, like, makes even less sense. Tyler Myers. Yeah, sure. In fairy fantasy dreamland, of course, the Canucks want to trade Tyler Myers, but what are they going to attach to this deal to give up for him? It makes sense if a team wanting to hit the cap floor wants to take on that contract. And again, a signing bonus gets paid out in mid-September, and some teams going, we got to hit the cap floor. Let's acquire this guy. But what are you giving up? For me, it's not worth giving up a first-round pick, which is kind of what a player with 1 year making.
Or Höglander.
I think it's going to take more than Höglander.
Okay.
That's an interesting debate, actually. Would you trade Höglander and Tyler Myers for a bag of pucks? To clear the cap space.
And not just to clear the cap space, but to be better next year, which is always the motto for the Vancouver Canucks. Be better.
But that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, right? By clearing the cap space. You're
exactly.
Ideally, replacing that with another $5 million guy who can come in and make an impact. Would you do it?
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, man. I'm a fan of Niels, man. I think he brings a level of tenacity that's not really something that I thought we would get from him. I thought it was more just skill. I think he's still a young player, and he's proven to have developed in the AHL. And I want to see what he can do under Tocchet. I think there is a chance that he's actually a Tocchet favorite. Yeah. I feel as if there's a recipe for that. Now, there are a lot of wingers on this team, It's like, are the Canucks going to be super desperate when they can't move Beauvillier or something, or they can't buy out OEL? And if that's the case, and there's like a surplus of wingers here, and maybe a guy like Tanner Pearson comes back, and again, the desperation meter is at an all-time high, they may have to do that. It's either that or a first-round pick or another second-round pick. And man, oh man, that's life as a Canucks fan right there, man. No game 6s over here. Just speculation and Tyler Myers.
Yeah, seriously. I know. Was there 4 game 6s that are about to kick off in half an hour time? I know we're recording a little later today, but yeah, maybe Tyler Myers in a second-round pick for a bag of pucks. I still don't think a team's doing that. I think a team, again, the market's been set with lots of trades over the years. Patrick Marleau was kind of the first big one, but he was a $6 million contract for a first-round pick. if a team is willing to take on 1 year of Myers and a second round pick, I would probably do it. I just don't think a team's gonna bite on that. I think they're gonna ask for more. Look, the Canucks gave up a second round pick to get rid of Jason Dickinson's contract. That guy made less than half as much money as Tyler Myers. So
Yeah.
color me shocked if it takes only a second round pick to clear Tyler Myers' cap hit. I just don't see it happening.
Was the article titled like likeliness to get traded or trade value?
It was a trade bait list.
Oh, trade bait list. Okay, so then that kind of makes sense because there's no value in Tyler Myers. He's way overpaid, and he's like, yeah. I mean, based on what we've seen from him on the Vancouver Canucks, is he playing every game for a playoff team? Maybe not. Maybe not.
No.
There's not a lot of value there, man. This, everyone. Again, the accountability card will only be played on the players this season. It's just the truth. It's a matter of time. There's only so much blame and so much blame for so long that could be spilt over to the management group and Aquilini. This is the year where the players are accountable and accountable only. And a guy like Tyler Myers, again, maybe no cabin trips with the family. I know that sounds dark, bro, because family first. You got to stay in the moment. Family first, your children first, all that jazz. But man, oh man, you want to revitalize your hockey career? Stay in Vancouver. Stay in Rick Tocchet's basement. I'm sure he's got a big ass house, for real. 5-bedroom basement suite. Get him in there. Atu Ratu, Pot Colson. That's a good 3, right? Hronik, I get Hronik to stay there too. And just run a boot camp, man. Run a boot camp. Push-ups, sit-ups, burpees. Get better.
Get better. Yeah. The Canucks would probably be better if they traded Tyler Myers, but I just don't think any sweetener is gonna make that happen. So chin-ups it is, Kyle. And aside from chin-ups, you know what else you should be doing? Checking out eBay Motors. Because for a championship team, I know. Were you ready for it? Okay, we're ready. Okay. Let's go.
No,
for
we're
a championship
ready.
team. Okay, good. It's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right.
It's got to fit.
The next time, exactly. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fill or your money back. Woo! Big promise, eBay Motors. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right price on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Available in the U.S. only.
Shout out to eBay Motors. Shout out to Locked On Canucks. Shout out to the people. I never have a problem with it not fitting right, It's never been put in that situation. If you've watched Mansers back in the past and understand that I'm a Hindu, you can do the math yourself, okay? It's not surprising. I probably didn't have to tell you that. Again, you're listening and watching Locked On Canucks, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen on this beautiful, sunny, late April day in Vancouver, the West Coast, the best coast of Canada. And yeah, it's another sunny day where playoff hockey does not exist in this city. And I know I'm just repeating myself often on this program, but it sucks. I don't give a F. It sucks.
I think you and I knew this is what we signed up for, right? Like we hopped on board with Locked On Canucks starting March 1st. We knew that this team was not going to be in the playoffs. We knew that it was going to be a long off seasons, and we knew we had to do it anyway. So what did we say, Kyle?
Go Canucks,
we
go.
Said, let's do it. We said, let's do it. Exactly. Well, yeah, something like that. Go Canucks, go. Let's do it. Let's do that podcast thing.
Let's do it.
Quickly, in this segment here, let's. This is a way too early look because A, the Stanley Cup playoffs aren't even done round 1. B, we haven't gotten to the offseason to see team changes yet. But I thought we'd just take a quick look at the teams in the playoffs right now, especially in the Western Conference specifically, and see who might the Canucks, if they're going to make the playoffs, who might fall out in the Western Conference. And this might be a depressing exercise because maybe you say no one. Okay,
of course.
I don't really know, but let's take a look at it quickly. Let's start from the bottom. Okay, let's start from the bottom. It's more interesting. The Winnipeg Jets, are they making the playoffs next season?
I don't think so. But
I think they could be one of the worst teams in the NHL. next season.
Whoa. Wow, really? Just because of the the
Yeah.
change or just because of
Yeah. I
yeah, they
think
got
there's going to be an organizational overhaul there. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois was not coming back. That's a big piece. I'm not sure how they replace him. Again, Winnipeg last offseason didn't miss the playoffs, and everyone thought they were going to tear it apart. Pierre-Luc Dubois wanted out, and then they kept everyone together, and then they had a nice run over the first half, and everyone's like, oh, look at Winnipeg. They're so smart. They kept everyone together. And then they absolutely flop in the second half. All this talk comes about the organization not getting along, the guys not getting along in the dressing room, and then they get, not swept by Vegas, but almost get swept. They lose in 5 games. So, yeah, I think the Winnipeg Jets are an easy choice. I'd be shocked if they made the playoffs next season. Although with Hellebuck, hey, anything's possible.
that's what I was about to say. He's still close to the top of his game. He's still one of the best goalies in the NHL. He still proved that this year. It wasn't good enough to get them past 5 games in the NHL playoffs, but he's still that guy. And when you have that guy in net, it gives confidence throughout your lineup. And anything is possible, anything is possible with good goaltending. It was a big reason why the Canucks were confident going into the season.
Yeah.
Because anything would be possible if Demko played like a top 5 goaltender, but he played like a goaltender ranked in the bottom half of the top 60 goaltenders in the beginning of the season. So yeah, man, this is depressing, man. Just talking about who we should replace. Like, come on, man. How about we just replace whatever the F we've been doing over the past couple of years, How about, again, we replace these off-season tendencies, right? The cabin trips, right? Cactus Club every now and then, a couple vacations. I know. Again, the moment matters, and life is way more than hockey. But don't you want success in your life? And don't you want to be successful in your industry next to your peers? And don't you think that whatever you guys have been doing over the last couple of years hasn't been working? Again, work out this summer. Shout out to Rick Tocchet.
Kyle,
work out to work it out.
Just so you know, I said, this is depressing. Obviously, the Canucks missed the playoffs, but if they're going to make the playoffs next year, they're going to have to, be one of the best 8 teams in the Western Conference. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. Just keep going, man. I'm just saying.
Right.
Just saying. I'm just talking out loud, man.
All right. Seattle, man. I'm shocked by Seattle right now. I picked Colorado to sweep in 4. I almost can't really believe what Seattle's doing right now, to be honest with you. I kind of wonder with their bad goaltending and just the way they perform this season, if they're at their peak a bit. I haven't dove into the numbers, but I feel like they've been a little lucky this season. I wouldn't feel great about them making the playoffs next season, to be honest with you. How would you feel about Seattle going into next season? Are they for real, or is it like a 1-year blip?
I think there's a lot of momentum on their side. I don't think they've reached their peak, so to speak. Ironically, I think they've gotten a little lucky. That being said, they're all bought in, and they're 1 win away from knocking off the Colorado Avalanche, aka they're a couple steps ahead of the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah,
had to take it there.
Oh, well, it's true, right? The organizational depth, or I should say the star power. Seattle's got the depth, but they don't necessarily have the star power right now, depending on what, Beniers does or Shane Wright, if you're a believer in Shane Wright. I mean, again, the Canucks got 3 pillars in place at center, defense, and goaltender that are better than any of the pillars Seattle has right now. But that being said, they're playing like a team. I just wonder if they're kind of catching lightning in a bottle at the right time. I'm not totally bought as Seattle being like a cup contender, and maybe that's just my West Coast bias. But Kyle, aside from that,
which is ironic because they're on the West Coast too.
Yeah, but this is the Northwest Coast bias.
Yeah, and we're the OG Northwest Coast team in the NHL. Okay, Seattle.
Yeah,
get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Freaking Kraken. I honestly though, but when I look at those 2 wildcard teams, is me not being sold on at all going to next season. But I look at the other 6 teams and I don't know, man. Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, Edmonton, Los Angeles. I don't know, man. I'm not sure if any of those teams are falling out next season. I would say I think Edmonton and Colorado are probably the cream of the crop with their star power and where they're going. I'd be shocked if they missed. LA, I think they just have a lot of depth as a good young team. They're on the fence though. I really like Dallas as well. I put Dallas closer to that Colorado Edmonton tier. And Vegas getting a little bit older, but hard to count them out. Maybe I would go Los Angeles and Minnesota as the other teams I'd be a little bit concerned about as potentially missing the playoffs next season. And just quickly to give some listeners a bit of hope, based on last season, there were 3 teams in the Western Conference who didn't make the playoffs this season. And that was Calgary, Nashville, and St. Louis. Were all replaced this season by 3 other teams. So, you know what? It happens every year. It's not usually the same 8 teams don't make it. So Canucks fans, that is reason to believe.
Reason to believe. And I feel as if I have to hold myself accountable, right? And if I want the team working out this summer, I got to go hard in the gym starting now. And if you're a Canuck fan out there and you want this team to do well and, treat your body right all off season, health is wealth, and put that energy out there. Sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror before you critique others. And I feel as if you're a Canucks fan and you go to the gym more this summer or go for walks and do your thing, karma will play its way into making sure the Canucks make the Stanley Cup Finals next season.
Let's go, buddy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Enthused.
That's great.
Enthused.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're listening to Locked On Canucks, the podcast that will be covering the Canucks Stanley Cup win in 2024. Are we delusional? Probably. But we're going to be here on the other side. Locked On Canucks, baby.
You're back. You're back on Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That is Trevor Beggs, your team every day. Shout out to the everydayers. Shout out to the people, again, that are not even watching the program. We are sending love your way. Always lead with love. That is what we were taught in Surrey, British Columbia. Hey, speaking of love, shout out to the comments, man. Again, JT Miller, whenever he's in the title of these episodes, it's the best day for our careers as podcasters. It's just the truth. This guy gets the people going. He really does.
In fairness though, we're not doing the daily face-off trade bit. I think like the Atu Ratu comparison to JT Miller is a legit question that I wanted to talk about. So we aren't pulling daily.
Sometimes I don't know about you, okay? Sometimes I don't know about you, Mr. Media Member. All right. How'd you get there? You sold your soul. More on that later.
How did I sell myself? Okay, yeah.
Hey, bro. If we talk about that, the episode's getting banned, and they're finding us and they're shooting us. All right.
Intense.
Marky Mark. Hey, this is a question for Trevsky. Trevsky, first of all, let's not go there. This guy got the coolest nickname, Beggsy, and this guy's trying to start Trevsky.
No. Marky Mark is an elite commentator. He can call me Trevsky if he wants. That's all.
He's been a long time fan since Nucks misconduct days. He's followed us. Anyways, he was asking. I think he was asking you to ask me to name my top 5 favorite Nickelback songs, and that's hard for me to do off the dome. I'm not gonna lie. Photograph, Rockstar, the easy ones. Every single Canadian knows those ones. Can you name the other 3 for the people? You got 3 more?
Yeah, those 2 wouldn't be in my top 5 though.
Okay, well then name 5 others, man. Let's go.
I would go Too Bad.
How does it go? I want to be
too bad, too late.
Oh, that song's crazy.
So long. It's a great song, man.
That song is beautiful, man.
Yeah, I do feel, I know like Photograph and Rockstar are like the top Nickelback songs, but I feel like that's when they started to go downhill. Was 2005.
Burn It to the Ground. How about that?
Burn It to the Ground. Yeah, a little cheesy, but it's a good song. It's a good song. I don't know if it would crack my top 5, but I would probably go How You Remind Me in my top 5, and then I would go.
What's the one where it doesn't matter wash, man?
Yeah, Someday. Someday's a great song.
I see you. It'll remind me of what I really.
Oh, that's what. Sorry, I thought I was thinking Someday. Someday, somehow, I'm gonna make it all right, but not right now.
I don't know if you can name.
This is going downhill.
Yeah, can you just?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Someday. I'm gonna go Do This Anymore. And I'm gonna go Feeling Away Too Damn Good on top of How You Remind Me and Too Bad.
Okay, cool. And on that note of Nickelback, man,
for sure.
just working around future entertainers in the city, and a lot of noise in the past. The recent past. Nobody can make it out of Vancouver. Nobody can make it out of the West Coast. It's hard. You got to go to other places. Blah blah blah. The city will never have your back. Blah blah blah. You cannot do it. You cannot do it over here. Nelly Furtado and Nickelback. Enough said. Enough said.
Yeah, well, I wish you could
shut up, Trevor. Just shut up.
Now.
Enough said. Enough said, okay? Enough said. Next comment, okay? Trade JT from Matt03. And there was another dude who commented. I couldn't find the actual comment, but I think it was from Tactic 88, and he said something like, even a doctor knows he must remove the tumor. Like, he can't just keep the tumor in the patient.
Oh, damn. And he's referring to JT?
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying, bro. But again, it's not Tactic's fault that he's in a dark place in life. And he's referring to hockey players being in dressing rooms as cancerous and vital killer. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep, but because the Canucks suck and they've sucked for close to 10 straight years, this is what happens. It's not Tactic's fault. It's the Canucks' fault.
Yeah.
It's the Canucks' fault, and this is why I think we should be able to sue Jim Benning.
I'm probably sue Francesco Aquilini at the same time, although who knows? We might even have lawyers knocking at our doors just for saying that.
Yeah, probably, and you're probably just blocked right now. You're not going in. Sorry, family. The bacon just got removed off the table. But hey, we could replace Trevor's funds, whatever he gets for going to the press box and, writing these stories about the Canucks. Now he just talks some crap about Francesco, and now he's not allowed. But we can replace that if the people watching this hit the subscribe button, hit like, comment, tell their friends. If you're watching this in Surrey, tell your Surrey folks that you just found Surrey's Canucks show. Bum. And now Trevor doesn't have to watch Canucks games or go drive to Rogers Arena to cover games. He can just stay at home with his family, eat dinner like a normal person, and spend more time in the moment again with his children. If you subscribe.
Yeah, please do subscribe. It would mean a lot to Kyle and I, and I guess my family as well, because I got to put that bacon on the table.
More to you, man. I'm doing this for you.
I'll say it's one thing quick before we get out of here and enjoy some sunshine. I don't get paid by Daily Hive to go sit in the press box. I do that because I love this city and I love the Canucks. I don't get paid for that. I get paid for writing, of course, but I don't get paid. I don't get any extra special bonus pay because I go cover the games. I just do that because it's a privilege, man, and I enjoy doing it. So shout out Daily Hive and shout out to the city and the hockey team. Hopefully one day my next goal is to cover a playoff game, but for now my goal will just be to grow this right here, Locked On Canucks, with you, buddy. So if you enjoy the show, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. We'd appreciate all that right there here on Locked On Canucks.
Let us know in the comments below if Nickelback is one of your favorite bands of all time in the top 20. In the top 20, man.
Wow.
That's how we're going to head into the weekend. Nickelback talk. I'm pretty sure that down the road we'll get Chad Kruger on the show.
I like it.
Why not?
Shout out. Well, yeah, no, why not?
Well, I have to. As a wise man, this is how you'll remind me of what I really am. That's a crazy bar, man. Locked On Canucks, man.
Yeah, I think we spent 80 to 90 seconds at the show thinking Nickelback, so apologies to the listeners out there for having to endure that. But for those who did tune in to the very end, shout out to you. Shout out to the everydayers. And if it's the first time listening to the show, welcome, and we love you. Player reviews are coming next week, baby. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.